Jeannie Mai calls police after allegedly being blocked from retrieving belongings at Jeezy's home months after their divorce. Okay, before we get into this very last story, can everybody please go to Bondi Blue Bites and subscribe to my secondary channel? Y'all will love it, okay? Because it's small versions of these topics. So you can literally click on whichever ones you want to hear about and not click on shit you don't care about. So please do me a favor, follow that. Also, don't forget to follow Reset by Design Wellness. Okay, it is a luxury traveling group that I am a part of. And I'm so excited about all the girlies that are coming through. We are going to Bali in July of 2025 this year. I cannot wait. I feel like it is going to be much needed by the time we get there to be able to leave America and not be here for a few days. Like, and in all honesty, if we were able to actually sell that second Bali trip, then I would be in Bali for 2 weeks. I would love that. But y'all didn't sign on for the second one. So, I'm sad about that. But yeah, y'all, don't forget Reset by Design Wellness. Sign up, check out the Instagram page, stay abreast because we travel every year. This is gonna be our third trip. We've been to Ghana, we've been to Thailand, and now we're going to Bali. Okay. I can't wait for us to crack South America open because I have yet to travel there, and I would love to go to some places in Brazil. Okay. I'm putting it out there, Ty. I'm putting it out there. I think I saw one of my girlies in the chat. I think Talia is in here. Shout out to my girl Talia. I don't know if Sharice is in here, but I feel like I just seen Sharice's name recently. So hey y'all, love y'all. Okay. Did you like the video? Okay. All right. So Jeannie Mai. Girl, they make me tired. These are two exhausting human beings, if you ask me. And I really do feel like she should have chose better. But I also feel like you don't know what you don't know. I think that we always feel like, the things we don't know might be better or we might have a better experience. And child, the way black women be acting over these niggas, I can understand why the other women are all girl, let me tell you. I don't know if y'all watch the Golden Girls like I watch the Golden Girls, but there are like episodes of the Golden Girls where Sophia will ask questions about black men in bed just to showcase how much white women of other ethnicities wanted to know what the dick was like from black men because black women been up here talking about how black men been breaking our backs and all of that, Mendingo dick and all of this shit. So it is very much a part of the the conversation amongst other ethnicities of people that black men are, dicking the girls down. Okay. And they want that. They want it, especially if they haven't experienced it. They want it. And it can be dangerous if you've never had it and you don't know how to think clearly, girl. And Blanche, yes, Blanche was always the one that was accidentally letting y'all know that she had some black meat and y'all just didn't know about it. But then had the nerve to turn around and say, Big Daddy was a Republican when she found out Big Daddy was fucking her nanny, who was who come on, our girl. Not Ozzy Davis' wife. Why am I spacing? I hate when that happens. Okay, but Blanche's nanny child. Okay, was out here messing around with Republican Ruby D. Thank you. Ruby D was Blanche's nanny and had came through looking for a music box. Okay. But I feel like there is something to be said for like other ethnicities of women that are curious about our men, just as I feel like black women are curious what it is like to be the kept white women or the kept Iranian or Arab or Asian, whatever. You wonder what it's like to grow up with these men that can afford you access and lifestyles. And all you got to do is watch movies and read fucking books. Girl, me and Lyric call ourselves trying to watch Mrs. Doubtfire. And I'm like, the way Robin Williams plays the character of every other nigga that might love their kids, but they're irresponsible, and the mother always has to come in and be the discipline, and the daddy get to be the good guy. Child, if that's not something that's prevalent in black community as well. I think just because we box ourselves off, we don't recognize how much of the things we go through are universal and not just black people problems. Like one of the first things I see in comments all the time from people, oh, it's other ethnicities. They don't drag they people down like this. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, the fuck they do. Every ethnicity, every group of people will find somebody inside their own group to dislike, to bully. Yes. 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 Even amongst, have y'all never watched Mean Girls? This is the clique of Mean Girls, and one of them is meaner to all of the other fucking girls. Like, this should not be lost upon anybody. People absolutely do all of this shit today saying, yes, Judge Judy, bitch. All they do is sue each other. Y'all wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't black. Shit. It's just easier to do to black people. That's why it happens so much, because it's easier. Easier to point the finger at us. We a scapegoat for a lot of people. Historically, it's always been that way. That's why we have such a, a crazy history when it comes to police and white women and all of that shit, because white men would be out here beating the shit out their wives and killing them and all of that, and then want to blame some black man that came through town with big black dick, and now y'all didn't, kill the whole Florida town looking for, non-existent big dick nigga that just came through town and fucked your wife or some shit. Like, child. But anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. Let's get back into it, okay? On December 9th, 2024, Jeannie visited Jeezy's Georgia home to collect personal belongings, but had to call the police after being denied access, according to court documents obtained by In Touch. Jeezy had packed Jeannie's items, including awards, photos, and clothing, into boxes stored in his garage. However, Jeannie alleged his house manager, under Jeezy's orders, refused entry despite a court order allowing her retrieval. Police informed the house manager the order was being violated, but further obstacles arose, including demands for a non-disclosure agreement. What? Why the fuck would she need to sign a non-disclosure agreement to come and pick her stuff up? What's going on in that house? When Jeannie finally accessed the garage, she found her belongings damaged by water and mice. Man, niggas ain't shit. Jeannie's awards were broken and scratched. Her lawyer noted Jeannie denied being revengeful, accusing Jeezy of contempt for disregarding court orders. A judge has yet to rule on the matter. I know they're gonna be people in the comments blaming her, but in this story, it sounds like that nigga knew that eventually she was gonna have to come and get shit, and you put it in a garage and you wet it and then left it there. People do shit like that all of the time, because once it's been wet, it starts to mildew. Also, what type of house do you have where y'all have mice? That house must be nasty. That house must be nasty if y'all have mice. I'm just saying, y'all, it's not easy to like what kind of house do you have where y'all have mice? It's a mansion in the middle of a neighborhood. Y'all don't have neighborhood cats? Like, how do you have mice? To me, you would have to be nasty and dirty to have mice in a nice house. That's what I would assume. She was over 6 months past the date that she was required to get those items. Okay. Okay, got it. Got it. So she was late picking it up. Got it. Just like he was late paying that money that he was supposed to pay for the school and all of that. I don't know. Really? That's interesting. All right, Eddie, listen. Listen. Mice are everywhere. I haven't seen not one in my house. Now, I had one when I lived in an apartment complex, but I've seen roaches. I've like not little roaches, those big roaches from outside. Okay, we spray. Madonna was nasty. I need for y'all to understand that rich people can be trifling. If you live in the woods or around woods, you will have all kinds of things. Oh, you think so? Mice isn't an indication of uncleanliness. Oh, is that right? Is that right? Is that what y'all think? Okay. Well, I'll just say this. I live, what is this? I live 3 or 4 blocks away from a levee, which has a, huge area of water. Right over the levee is the forest. When I drive out onto the main road, the whole thing is trees and forest. Um, Yesterday, me and Lyric drove to the end of our street so that we can go and see how the snow looked in the woods across the canal. And so, and this right here. No, rats are everywhere in NYC. In the city, it's different. In the city, you could not be dirty and have mice because you live in an apartment complex or you live somewhere that is close to somewhere where there's a lot of food. I live in what someone would call a cul-de-sac. Like I live in a neighborhood, meaning that we don't have mice because either people aren't really nasty and dirty as much as you would think. We have cats in our neighborhood that everybody kind of maintains. I think they keep mice away. I've been living in this house for 10 years. I've been living in this house for 10 years, y'all. And I feel like when yes, and that's another thing. Snakes, lizards. Y'all, we have lizards all over the place. Lizards are not a sign of people being dirty, but people having mice in a house that is not connected to anything and not across the street or down the block from a restaurant. You have no reason to have mice. We have gardens in our neighborhood, so it attracts mice. Okay. That might be a thing. That might be a thing. I'll give you that. Okay, we have 11 acres and we get mice and snakes all the time in the house. Okay, so it sounds like y'all need, have somebody come in there and make sure y'all ain't got no holes and shit. Listen, okay, now y'all have now told me that you don't have to be nasty to have mice in a nice house. Okay, that's good to know. And I'm glad that whatever that is that y'all got going on, I don't have it. Okay, I'm so like appreciative of the fact that that's not something I deal with because that would creep me the fuck out. And I lived in an apartment complex where I had mice before. One mice came in there, child. I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do. Okay, when we lived, in a trailer that was across from the because the house wasn't as insulated. The house wasn't as insulated. But I'm just saying, I assumed that Jeannie and Jeezy would live in like a neighborhood. I'm assuming they would live behind a gate. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they would have a lot of grass around their house, but I'm just assuming they would live in a neighborhood and not somewhere in the middle of the fucking woods. I could be wrong. I don't know where Jeezy lives, but I'm going to just say I have not regularly seen mice running around people's houses if their houses weren't nasty. If they didn't have like open food containers around all the time, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying I'm always super, super clean and all of that, but yeah, I'm glad that's not something that I have to often deal with, child. But if you're in the French Quarter, you're gonna have mice. That's you close to things, you know. Um, oh Lord. Mm. Having mice is a health hazard. That's what I would assume. Entry points. They're opportunistic. They like warmth, food stored properly. Ooh, I don't know. I feel like a lot of y'all are just trifling and don't want to admit it. Not y'all shaming people for mice coming into their homes. No, it's not shaming people for having mice. It's shaming people for being trifling. Some of y'all are trifling. Okay. I said what the fuck I said. It's okay to say you didn't know without the shade. I mean, it's okay to say it however I say it, because it's really not that serious. You do realize that, right? I can say it however I want to say it. And what I will say is, I'm sorry, I was not expecting there to be mice in somebody's nice house in a neighborhood. No. Knowing that there are mice in cities, knowing that there may be mice in the country, like where you have barns and shit. Absolutely. I could understand that. That was not lost upon me. I was imagining a specific setting when it came to these people's houses, which I would imagine was a bigger, cleaner version of mine. Okay. Like, and I'm just saying that because it's a house, a two-story house in a neighborhood next to other houses, right? That's what I was assuming, baby. At the end of the day, this is not to shame anybody, but some of y'all are trifling. And if you feel shame about that, like shame, 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 shame. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like y'all just being real sensitive right now. Like this is Jeannie and Jeezy we talking about. I can't say I'm shocked that these rich people have mice. My God. My God. Like it's not a moment where you should like internalize it. You know what I mean? I told y'all I had a mouse when I lived in the apartment. Does that mean my apartment wasn't clean? No, it means somebody else's apartment wasn't clean. Y'all niggas out here mad about Bondi. Listen, I have a mouse right now. That's my best friend, bitch. I'm like Michael Jackson, bitch. I've named him. It's okay, y'all. It's okay. I'm not like really being like elitist or anything. I grew up around people that were poor and still very clean, but they're always like extremely dirty people. They're always extremely dirty people, y'all. Have y'all never watched those shows about people hoarding? Like people are nasty, y'all. Like it's okay. It is okay. And I really need for y'all to stop taking y'all very extreme versions of life out in the middle of the fucking wilderness with the birds and Snow White and the seven dwarfs and your deers and your squirrels. And, girl, yeah, like we have opossums dead on the street too. And I still have not seen a mouse in this house. And I don't want to say anything because then I might wake up tomorrow and there might be a mouse in my damn house. And I'm going to blame y'all. Y'all put it there. I'ma blame y'all. Y'all put it there. Also, I feel like sometimes when people have money like that and they have other houses, they may not be there, they don't upkeep those homes the way they should. And so you might have an issue, but you like, I ain't there, fuck. And then by the time you come home, now you have like mice infestation because you had holes that needed to be replaced and you didn't get them replaced. Like, come on, y'all. Okay. Ooh. Have you asked Lyric? I don't need to ask Lyric. I'm home all day, every day. I don't need to ask Lyric about if there have been mice in my house. Like, I don't need to ask him that. First of all, I know when this nigga kills a roach. Like, you could tell by the way it's done. Like, you just hear all of a sudden. Okay. Also, I have dogs. I think that's another thing that might keep shit from just wanting to crawl in my house. Okay. Y'all think they still hunching? Oh, no, I don't. I don't think Jeannie and Jeezy are still hunching. I just think they're toxic and I'm exhausted of talking about them. And I just really want for it to be over. That's how I feel. Let's see. Jeannie grew up hood adjacent. Her teenage years were a little crazy. This take doesn't feel correct. Okay. Let's think about that. And I understand what you might mean. I didn't say she grew up with wealth. I said she's an Asian woman. So I imagine that she grew up dealing with mostly white and Asian men and only having sex with black men ever so often, not fully being in a fully formed relationship with them, right? Because like she said, she used to like to get her little dark meat on the side. Y'all remember that? So think about when you allow yourself to get really enveloped in a black man and his dickdom and playing a role for him and falling in love with him, what that means. I think that it's a different situation to have a one-off with a black guy you meet out at the club every now and again in comparison to being in like a toxic relationship with one that's dicking you down and talking to you crazy. um so I understand why you could say my take is not correct because she's hood adjacent. I still feel like her dating history shows that before she was never in a full relationship with a black man like that, especially not as a grown adult woman that's also famous. I feel like that's different. And when I said, we want what we don't have, I'm talking about community wise. Yeah, you can be in community with black men, but that doesn't mean that, you are going to marry them. When you're an Asian girl and your community tells you need to marry either a white person or an Asian person. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of other nationalities of people feel like you could play around with black men, but you don't go and like get in long-term relationships. You don't let them put babies in you. You don't marry them, girl. You don't do that. And she might have felt like what she received from these one-offs, if that was in a relationship form, it might be something more passionate. And that's another thing that I feel like black people showcase. Black people have always showcased more passion. That's not always positive or negative, but even in porn, like if you ever watch porn, white people look like they're overperforming. Even Asian people, they look like they're overperforming. So it looks like it's just so good, I can't control it. Black people, a lot of the times, will like have sex from a space that looks like it's real. It sounds like it's real. Like it doesn't look like a performance as much because it seems more passionate or more enthralled. Black people with dancing, music, we always seem like the more passionate people, right? So imagine Jeannie Mai growing up across the street from black people, but never really being in their houses or never really being in a relationship with one, and only being with Asian and white men. They carry themselves a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I don't feel like it's actually not correct. I just think you were misunderstanding me. You can be hood adjacent and also have it in your household that you can't bring no nigga home. You feel me? And then one day you decide to bring a nigga home. It is different. It is different. So that's what I meant when I said that. Not that she had never interacted with black people, but just when it comes to them being in her family, it's different. It's so much different. People date outside of their race all the time. And it's not the same thing when it comes time to bring them home to your family members. You know what I mean?